everyone. How are you? This is Rosemary Massaro, Craft with Ro, and welcome to my exclusive virtual event add-on class. So every year I do an annual exclusive event that is solely for my customers and my team members who qualified um, through the previous year. So I'm really excited. Most of you should have received all of your exclusive gifts in the mail by now. I hope so. And those that have signed up and are participating in our virtual add-on class, this is for you. But however, if you're just watching it on YouTube, please enjoy the inspiration. I'm going to share as much of the measurements that I can remember off the top of my head. Actually, this is my second recording because the first time I recorded it, I didn't have the volume on. Silly me. But I'm glad you're here and enjoy. Let's create. So today we are going to be working with our Fragrant Layers. We are creating 4 different cards. I am using a mosaic look. And I would probably say it's a little bit like art glass, so to speak. The actual word is escaping me, but you'll see it when you'll love it, and when I share it with you. We're going to create 2 different ways of making this mosaic art, and then we're going to make 2 other really fun cards that go along with it. So here is my first card that I'm going to show you, and here is that stained glass. That's the word I'm looking for. It's mosaic a little bit, but it's a stained glass art. And here is my first version of stained glass. It's a fun fold card that we're going to create. And I am featuring the Cajun Craze cardstock. Obviously, you can create this in any color combination that really suits your fancy. We are also using oh my gosh, Calypso Coral. And this is, I believe, 3.5 by 5. We're going to fold this piece right in half. This is going to be our fun fold. And you guys received the embellishments, all the cardstock, everything that you needed. And you will need, for this particular card, you're going to need some liquid glass, or they call it, it's very easy to find. Glossy Accents is also available. The one I'm going to be using is from Close to My Heart, but it's very, very similar. It's the closest that I've found. So we have several pieces that I've cut out here. So here is one of our newest embossing folders. It is called Lovely Stripes. I actually love the accent. Beautiful for page layouts as well. That's a great accent piece. So we're going to layer that on top. And this is our very vanilla cardstock. Then our next accent piece, this is going to go here. But before we do that, we are going to die cut. And in this beautiful die set has the most fun die. I love the way it kind of just provides that extra accent. We're going to pull this off, and we are going to die cut this exactly in the center. We want just a little bit, like an 1/8 of an inch around here, around the side. And I'm going to grab my mini die cut machine. And you want to keep that as centered as possible. We're going to put this on here. And if my die starts moving, I will probably add just a little bit of washi tape if I can't have a steady hand and a steady plate. Okay, I look like I'm off just a little bit, just a smidget. So I am going to grab my washi tape because I want to, it doesn't have to be perfect, quite honestly, but I want it as close as possible. And because I'm using our earth and metallic gloss paper, just make sure that your washi tape that you're using, look at my hands already, is not very, very tacky, because you don't want it to rip at your paper. I'm going to place that right there. I'm going to add that right onto the corner there. It should stay in place. We're going to pull this off. I have washi tape sticking to me. I'm going to move this off to the side in my garbage area. And this actually cut really very nicely. We'll be coming back to that because we're going to do one more in a little bit of a different style. So these are going to pop out really easy. You can use your brayer to help you pop out. Actually, when I have tough pop outs, you're going to want to put it on your foam mat, and that makes it a lot easy. They just really jump right out. Okay. Clean that off. And we are going to line this up on the coordinating Very Vanilla cardstock. If yours has a little bit of an edge around it and you don't want the cardstock to show through, I just suggest take a pair of scissors and trim it off if you didn't happen to line it up correctly. Just taking those little pieces off, and I'm going to grab my liquid glue here. And my glue is running really low, so I hope that I have enough. It's this type, I swear this Tombow glue, I've had it forever, and it seems like it just lasts forever and ever. No complaints. Just putting a little bit in the center there. We're going to line that up right on there. Lined up very nicely. All right, so our next step here, and I should probably grab some scrap paper, is we are going to color in our little sections here. I'm going to try to dab off the extra glue. And it's okay if you get some extra glue on the inside. So here we're going to create our stained glass, and the colors that I have chosen are Calypso Coral, Cajun Craze Calypso Coral, And I think this is Mossy Meadow. Your instructions might say Old Olive. I can't really recall what I put in there. And then I have my Daffodil Delight right here. So I encourage, when you are doing this kind of accent work to create the stained glass look, you really want to go with a dark color, especially on the card that we're going to be working on next. So I'm going to see if I can just go in a little bit more just to show you. What I love about this is that I really don't, I have this border right here. You can actually cut two of these out if you want it to be a little bit thicker of a stained glass. I'm choosing not to, and I'm going to go with the Cajun Craze and the inside of my flower here. And these lighter spots that are showing up, that's a little bit of the glue. That's okay. So in our sample here, I am literally just going to color in the flowers, but you can actually end up coloring on the outside part of here a separate color if you want. And we're doing this one first because hopefully, but I doubt it, it'll dry by the time we're done with making our 4 cards. So I'm trying to get as much of the cardstock covered in the background. And it's okay if you have different shading within your coloring. It just actually adds more dimension. And again, these lighter spots that are showing up here is the glue that I got on the page, but I actually like the way it looks when that happens. So that was Cajun Craze. And now we're going to use Calypso Coral. And again, I'm using the darker of the color. We're going to color this in here. And I'm going obviously much darker than I did here. I think I used pumpkin pie on this other card. I'm just looking for it to be, this area to be a different shade. I do think I like the lighter color there, but, and then for my leaves, I have chosen, I think I went with Mossy Meadow. It's such a delicate, pretty die and stamp set. I love the capabilities of the intricacy and the details and the layering possibilities. All right, and we just got to do the center. Oops. And we are using Daffodil Delight. Okay, so here comes the fun part. We are using our liquid glass. And let's hope. Now, I actually have had this for several years. And Um, they say that when you're storing it, you should store it upside down. I had it on its side, and it literally worked out perfectly, and it's still good. It's not dried out. You do want to make sure the cap's on tight, but all I'm doing is taking the liquid glass and I'm filling in these gaps in between the metallic, earth and tone metallic, and it's going to dry. It's going to get a lot lighter. It's going to get, right now it looks foggy, but it won't be that as it dries. It will dry a lot clearer. And I just want to make sure that I'm getting it even and it's completely covered, and I don't want any bubbles. So if I do get bubbles, I just kind of try to pop it out. But again, with stained glass, it looks, if you do have bubbles, it looks a little natural actually, right? And I'm just using the tip of the bottle here, uh, just to get into the crevices if needed. Really, really fun technique. When I saw this stamp set, I knew I had to do this. I shared some of this at one of my in-person events last year. I mean, obviously it was a different die, but I think I might have gone online with it as well. I think that was before my YouTube time. So, and I'm doing my best to avoid getting the liquid glass on the metallic. I did get a little bit there, but again, it's going to dry clear. And just want to make sure. Actually, once you start doing it, it's kind of hard to tell where you have your liquid glass and where it's not. I have it there. Got a little bubble there, so I'm going to try to pop that out. And I think I have it completely done. I'm going to bring it closer up to the camera for you guys. So as you guys can see, it's got a nice glassy look to it. And again, as it dries, those colors are going to get a little bit lighter. I use obviously different colors on here. So here I used the Calypso Coral and then the Pumpkin Pie. So I'm going to put this aside to dry. You can create the rest of the card. We are done with our liquid glass. Again, as I mentioned, make sure you got a really good seal on that so it doesn't dry out for the next time you want to use it. We are going to take your smaller piece of your, which I think this is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, but don't quote me, it's on your assembly guides. If anybody is interested in the assembly guide, it is available for $20. You can get the assembly guide, or with the $35 online order, I will send it to you for free. Then we are going to take our other floral dies. And again, love the way that we can layer this here. So we're going to attach this with some liquid glue, and I'm just going to attach it right like that. Come on, come on. I know there's some in there. Come on, buddy. So just by setting it down for that little bit, I'm pretty sure it got clogged. Yep. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this liquid glue right on the side edges. I am going to take my glue holder and leave that laying down or upside down. I'm going to line that up accordingly. Right? I had it so lined up perfect before I dropped it. There we go. Add that right to the inside here. So when you die cut these little flower here, you're going to get a little star. I chose to keep my star. I'm going to put it right on the inside. And I could have kept the dark or the Cajun Craze or the Calypso Pearl, but I kept the Cajun. And then we're going to stamp. Just a note, these wonderful sentiments come right within this stamp set. I'm going to stamp that. Oh my gosh. My blocks need a overall haul in cleaning. So I'm going to stamp this in the Cajun Craze. What do you guys clean your blocks with? I usually use rubbing alcohol, but I'd love to hear how you clean your stamp blocks. There we go. Let's take that off. I'm going to put this over in my chamois little bin. On the side here, I keep my chamois, and then after I'm done doing all my lives, I clean off my stamp sets. And oops, looks like we have one of our leaves right here. So that other piece, our accent piece that we just created, is going to go on the top of here when it dries. But we're going to attach this to the top of our card base. Layer that right on top. You can take our inside piece. Now, on this particular, I did not, but you could easily stamp and or cut out a few more flowers just to go on the inside for a nice pretty accent as well on your card. And there we go. Oh, let's put our embellishments on. And I am using the 2025-2027 in color gems. I've gone through so many of these embellishment colors. And we are going to stick with the I'm not even quite sure which color this is now that I think of it. Trying to think on our new colors. I think it tells me on the back of our package here. That is interesting. They don't share it anymore. I think this is considered the Timid Tiger, and I just thought it was a really nice accent for this card base. It is. It's the Timid Tiger. So just complements those colors really well. So we're going to put this aside, and we're going to come back, and hopefully we'll see that this is dried, or at least you'll see the drying process. And next, we're going to do something very, very similar. And in this stained glass, we are using our blends. We're using acetate or window sheet, and we're going to be coloring on the back side. But as you guys can see, it looks more like a watercolor painting versus more of a glossy stained look. So I just realized that I didn't put my little leaf on my other flower. I'm going to jump over here and put that on the inside. There we go. All right, so here is the card that we're going to be creating. I'm using the new cloud cover. It's kind of like a bluish gray. I love it. And then again, I used the new stripes embossing folder called the Lovely Stripes. And this one, we didn't create this to be a fun fold, but we are putting some details, a nice accent on here. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Too much ink on my hands. Okay, hopefully that's going to get covered. Maybe not. Because this is the piece that we're going to need. Well, it looks like it's mostly going to get covered. So here, I'm going to take our Pretty Peacock, is one of the colors that I'm using on this card. And I'm just going to take the marker to provide some accent, and I'm just going to go right along the edge here. Hold it snug. Just provides additional accent, and if you wanted it to be a little bit of a thicker line, you would just use the brush end versus the fine point on your markers. So here we're going to add this. Layer that right on top. I swear, right? I am a true crafter. And here we have our acetate or window sheet. Now keep in mind, wherever you purchase it, you do want to make sure that there's no film. Sometimes it comes with a little bit of a film sheet. These do not. And we're going to take, we are going to take this and we are going to die cut it just the same way we did the other one. We're going to bring out our mini sheet here and grab our plates. take our fun die. We're going to line it up again, just like we did the, I still have some pieces in here, the earth in tone. There we go. And we're going to line that up. We're going to center it as best as we can. You definitely want a border around the edge. We're going to tape that on, run it through. It's sliding on me. There we go. Okay, I'm done with these. Gonna pop these off. Again, it punches out really very easily. You got a few small pieces. I just take my tweezers, but you can obviously use your brush to pop out these little pieces, but it's so easy. All right, I think I got them all. Oop, one more here. Clean this mess off. Okay, so now we are going to glue this onto our window sheet or our acetate. Again, I'm going to just go right around the edge here. Grab a couple little spots in the center so that it stays down. And feel my way for that little acetate piece that's going to be clear and hard to find. Where did I just put it? You guys probably see it right away. It's right here. Gonna line that up right behind here. And again, if yours is not perfectly cut, feel free to trim where you have excess. So I'm just rubbing off the excess glue. Now this glue is going to be on top, but we're going to be coloring the back side of this. And the colors that I have used for this is Strawberry Slush, Melon Mambo, and Pretty and Peacock, and then our Daffodil Delight. So we're going to just go in the background here and color these in. And what's nice here is that I don't have to worry about being right in the lines. But I'm going to use my brush. And I'm going to go along the edges here. I'm not so concerned because I want that watercolored look, that my strokes are 100% even. And what's nice about this is going to dry much faster. And the glue that's on the other side is going to dry clear. So we won't really have to worry about those little imperfections with glue. And even on the acetate, once you color it in, it takes on a different color. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, that's why I encourage you guys to go with a deep dark color. I think I might have mentioned pretty in pink on your assembly guide, but I have chosen to go with the Melon Mambo for the accent colors, because the pretty in pink just wasn't cutting it for me. Oops. This does not want to close. There we go. All right. So here is my Melon Mambo. And I am going to color in these little accent pieces right here. And why I suggest you use the darker of the colors is because when it dries, it does tend to dry a little bit on the lighter side. So we're going to do our leaves in the pretty peacock. So just a different technique on getting that stained glass look. And just over here. Again, like I said, I don't have to worry about being perfect in the lines because it's on the back side. We're not seeing it. And we just now have to do our centers of our flowers. Pick that up. And obviously when I hold it up like this, it looks really pale. But once we apply it to our card base, that's the inside of our card base, it's going to really pop out, stand out much bit more. And you could attach this to another piece of cardstock in the back for more dimension, but you really don't have to. I'm going to just add some liquid glue to the back side, line this up. I think I gave you all extra cardstock for that in case you wanted to do that. I'm just going to line that up right here. Dab off my extra glue. And then we're going to take this and say, "It's your day." We're going to stamp that. And we're going to stamp that in Pretty Peacock. Since I'm having an inky day, I'm making sure I'm going to close that up right away. You can dovetail it, or you can you don't have to. I'm going to choose not to. We're going to put this right on the front of our card. I'm going to line it up right along my edge here. We are going to put our inside layer. We are going to stamp the inside of this So Happy For You. And then we're going to do some pretty stamping. And this is where I love the texture of the stamp. Accents. So we are going to do strawberry slush. I'm going to stamp the outside border first. And then I'm going to take the inside border that already has like a shading gradient. And I'm going to, what I call second generation stamping. We're just going to line this guy up. Not my best. As you can see here, I did a much better job. It's a little hard for me to get overhead without you guys getting my back of my head in the way. But here we go. We have our beautiful card. I'm just going to add some of our embellishments. And since I have a little bit of glue showing out on the accent here, I'm going to cover that up right there. I love that we have 3 size gems on these embellishments. And there we have it. Here's where I use the thicker border on the marker, and here's where I use the finer tip on the marker on the accent there. But here is your stained glass using our combo blends. So pretty. Move that aside. And now the next two are much more simpler, but fun. So I'm just going to move. This leaf does not want to stay on my stamp sheet. All right, so here's our next one that we're going to do. And I'm using strawberry slush, 8.5 by 5.5, score at 4 1/4, or just fold in half. And here I'm going to take that outer stamp, so the not solid stamp, I guess is what I'm looking to call it. And we are going to just randomly stamp the edge of our card base here. And we're doing So it's tone on tone. Just a nice little accent. I mean, you can randomly stamp the whole card if you want, even including the back. That would be pretty. But we're just doing along the edge here. Okay. Turning off my block. And we're taking the Daffodil Delight. We're going to layer that on top. Then we're going to take our center cardstock and we are going to stamp in Black Memento. I'm going to leave that open. So I have taken our, what they call our white pigment stamp ink pad, but it's a blank ink pad and you add the pigment ink. I have just added our Memento Black re-inker on there, and I am going to stamp this. Move this out of the way. Line that up. And because it's hanging off just a little bit, I'm making sure that I get the edges. And if you don't have a block big enough, I highly recommend that you turn your block upside down and ink this way. That's a guarantee that you will get full coverage ink on your whole stamp. And I am just going to stamp in the center. Perfect. We're going to need this again, so I'm going to leave this on that block. And now we're going to take our inside stamp, and I'm going to show you how easy, if I can line it up. And we're going to stamp this in Strawberry Slush. As you can see, my stamp, this bundle has gotten a ton of love. And so you're just going to line this up, and how I lined it up is using this longer sprout piece, buds here. So we're going to turn this way. We're going to line that up, and it does line up really relatively easy. Look at that. See, I told you, I knew I could do it. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do is use these leaves. And I do want to share with you guys that the leaves, there are 2 different leaves in this set, which I learned the hard way creating my first card. So we have one that is pretty straight, and then we have one that's got just a little bit of a curve at the end of it. So you want to be aware of that. And we are using, I'm using Summer Splash, but you can use obviously any color that you'd like. So we're going to line these up and see how this is straight, and then that has the curve. And then you have your, so there's 3 different sets of leaves in this stamp set that you're going to be using. I'll line that up just like that. And then I'm going to take our other one that has that little bit of a flip on it. just slightly little curved. And then we have our 3 leaves. Might be a little off there. Yep, I kind of knew it. Then, instead of stamping, which you can, gives you the option, I have cut out, and you guys have received your cardstock. So when you cut these out, the dies on here, let me show you. It's a multiple die, right? So you have enough to cut out 2 different die cuts with this stamp. But so when you cut it the first time, save the extra. You're going to need it for our next card. And then I'm just going to take some dimensionals here. And believe it or not, these flowers, flower centerpiece. Oops, I don't want that on that side. I want it on the back side. Are 2 different sizes. Honestly, I didn't see a really big difference on which flower I put it on. It's such a slight difference. I'm going to add some dimension there. Making sure I put the dimensional on the back side. Okay, so we have one last stamping that we need to do, and we need to stamp our hello. I am choosing our black memento. And I'm going to put it right there. Nice simple hello card. I'm going to add that to the inside layer. Just want to make sure it's opening the right way. And there you have it. Again, you can add additional flower on the inside or do some die cuts on the inside. It's so pretty. So that is card number 3. Card number 4, very similar. This is our 4th card here. And what we're just doing is we're going to do some dual stamping and shadowing. So this is going on a basic white cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, fold in half. Those that know me know that I really love a matted look on my card. I just feel like it gives it more substance. What do you guys think about that? I'm going to add that right here. Making sure I don't have any wet ink on me. All right, so now we are going to take our stamp. We're going to, again, use black memento. I'm stamping it upside down or upside up. I don't know which way you want to call it. And here I'm just going to take the corner of my card base and stamp. And then I'm going to do the same on the other corner. So the tricky part, not that tricky, but the tricky part is going to be lining up the inside part of the stamp. We're going to be doing our strawberry slush again. Tap, tap, tap. And clean off my block. And again, I'm using these little buds at the end here to line up the longer one. We're going to line them up. That's the way I found it to be the easiest. Great. And let's ink this up again. I obviously do not have a steady or light hand. I'm definitely heavy-handed, that's for sure. All right, and I have that little 3 sprout there. We're going to line that up. I love this gradient look that it creates. Add our leaves. So on this one, we have this leaf right here. And I think that looks more of the flared. So we're going to use the flared one on that. That fell right off my block. And line that one right there. And then we'll take our 3 leaf. This is called 2-step stamping, by the way. If you guys are not aware of that. I see Stampin' Up! Using that terminology more and more often. So our next step is you're going to die cut. I love the label that they provide. You have this label here. So you're going to be cutting 1 out in strawberry slush and 1 out in white because we want the center piece for the white. So let's move this out of the way. We're going to stamp So Happy for You and strawberry slush. And we have our little flowers on the inside of this envelope here, so I'm going to pour them out because we're going to add those. rid of that ink. Take my liquid glue. Go right around the edge here. If you guys are familiar with our two-sided adhesive, some of these dyes would be perfect for that two-sided adhesive, to use that right there. All right, we're done that. Get that straight. Add that right on the inside there. Make sure my hands are clean. Fits in perfectly. Add our little centers of our flowers. Again, creating that dimensional look. So, and how many you're going to need of this, that's why I said to save your others that you die cut out, is, as you can see, one of my cards, I think I needed 6. One card, this is not my first card that I've done with this. Another card I needed 7. Here it looks like I'm only going to need 4. So I have plenty of my dies, my little flower insert buds. And we got one more. We'll get our embellishments put on. And that is it for our 4 cards. We're going to check on our other liquid glass card, our other stained window card. See how we're doing on that. Center that right here. Here I'm going to use this strawberry slush. And you know what? I'm going to add one here. One nice accent piece there. And we'll put one right here. And that is our 4th card. So we've got this card number 4. Card number 3. Card number 2. And our last card, let's see how we're doing. It's still wet. So I dare not, this is going to get glued down some more, but I dare not try to attach this to the outside of the card at this point because I will for sure mess it up. But it takes about maybe 2 hours to fully dry, and you'll be able to feel it. It's not going to be tacky or anything. But here is card number 4, which will look on the outside of here. So, very pretty. That's what we have for you today. Thanks again for joining our virtual event. Have fun crafting the rest of the day, and we will see you back on Zoom in a little bit. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.